Hello, I don't know how well this will come out because I'm videoing myself and it's very impromptu. I'm James Collingburn, son of Mike Collingburn, and we are, well, we don't like to, we're very humble, but you could say we are world known car upholsterers, car trimmers. And my dad has trained me up to do things right, his way. And sometimes when you do things right, there's no shades of right. There's right and everything else is wrong. And, we like to think that our customers only get stuff when it's fairly right, all right. There's no perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. Things should have imperfections. So anyway, there's been a bit of sort of interest in us putting some videos up online and showing some of the things we do that you could do yourself. Although, of course, we're not going to give all our secrets away. But anyway, I'll show you the workshop. And then, I don't know, screws, fasteners, etc. There's 4 lots of M-type seats in black that we'll get round to finishing. There's a load of TF in tan, foam. There's an original TA seat base. There's a load more stuff on the shelf. This is actually tidy and organised for us. Now this is the workshop. There is far more than this. This is just a drop in the ocean. We actually have 2 lockups for stock, but show you that another time. So there's a few bits of vinyl on the shelf. A lot of people don't realise, but our vinyl in our special colours, so for example cerulean blue, almond green, tan, biscuit, apple green especially, which is by far and above the most popular MG trim colour, because all the most Triple M cars were done in it, but also T-types. We'll come back to them in a minute. Here's sewing machines. We've got 1, 2, 3, another one on the floor down there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is not the norm, really. Most trimmers have 1 or 2 machines and they do everything on those 1 or 2 machines. There's about 9 here, and I've recently had them looked at and serviced, and we prefer to do a specific job on each machine. This one, for example, is over 100 years old. You can't even get a manual for it, it's that old, and all I use it for is making piping, wing piping, interior piping. You can see from years and years and years of it rubbing out, and that's all I use that for. That one there is good for wheel arch covers. That's a short arm machine. We're not going to get into models and specifics, because unless you use them, you're not going to be interested. That is a long arm or an extended arm machine. That would take 3 or 4 men to get it out of here. That is, well, we no longer make weather equipment. I haven't got the time. But do carpets on that. And the reason being is because you can get a huge amount of work underneath the machine. Loads of sewing machine bits, plates, feet, etc. Chain stitcher. You can do seat covers on that, and that's what they were done on originally. Although most don't use a chain stitcher, they'll do it on just a normal straight stitch. That's fine, still good, but that's stronger. You get a stronger stitch with that. That one there's for tool rolls. Could use any machine, but that one we have the attachments. These beasts are 132K6s, and these are thought of as the car upholsterer's sewing machine. And the reason being is because you can get about a centimetre of work under there. There's my finger. Now we shall move on to trim panels, and I'll show you why these are so important. The Singers, by the way. The reason I'm doing this video is I've just made a pair of door panels, door trims, whatever you want to call them, for a J2. Now, your P's, J's, F's and L's, two-seaters, you know, unless they were a special one or whatever, if you want your doors differently, these are your sort of standard doors. Left, right, with a semicircle cut out, done in 3mm birch throughout plywood. I would not make them out of anything else. So when we do your doors, all you need to do is send me patterns in brown paper. You don't have to... By the way, most timber merchants won't have birch throughout ply. You've got to order it. And the Russian stuff I wouldn't use. You want good, well, British or American, really. But anyway, that's irrelevant. You don't need to provide that. I would. All I need is this size and shape. Ignore that. I do that. That's your semicircle semicircle cut out for the pocket. This is where your door lock would go. You just mark the position. I've done that one like that. And then I did that one like that. But either way, the door hardware goes over the door. Sometimes people like to cut out for the bottom buffer. That's fine. Can do that. Bottom and top rubber buffer. But you don't have to. But if you cut it out and you say, cut it out, I will. Then that's done in dark green PVC vinyl with leather piping across the top. You're thinking, how's he attached that? I'll show you shortly. These are your MG rubbers that you fix to the car with vinyl over the top. People ask how you do it. I will show you in another video, but what you want is this, a bone folder. You can get them off eBay, about £5. This is a cattle bone one, and probably been using this, well, this could be 20, 30 years old. You know, the plastic ones are good. They'll do for you, but I would only use a cattle bone one because I want it to last. I only have about 5 of them, and I won't get any till they break, so they are invaluable. Now, the stitching goes all the way around. And it's actually stitched through the wood. And you do it on that machine, one of those machines over there, 132K6. Now, a lot of trimmers won't do this because sewing machines are not actually designed to go through wood. I recently had our machines looked at and 2 of them properly serviced, and our engineer was blown away that we were doing that, and he said you shouldn't be, you're abusing them. And yes, we are. I mean, I would, for those doors I will charge £335 just for the doors. Because what you're mainly paying for is the labour and me doing this. You get one shot at this. We have ruined many doors by getting that wrong. So I have to set the machine up and everything's got to be right. The right feed dogs, the right feet, the needle, the thread, everything. And then I do lots of tests. And sewing machines are like classic cars. On a good day, they're wonderful. On a bad day, you know, they like to take the mick out of you. So what you're mainly paying for is my time and my labour to do it. Covering this, you can do this, you know, you can do that in half an hour, but it's this bit. You don't have to have it, but we believe more often than not, cars had it. And my dad saw more original cars with it than didn't have it. And then you got leather piping along your top edge. The core in there is I think it's 3 or 4mm, but anyway, it doesn't matter because I'd either do your doors for you or I would provide you with that, and then that's stapled on. So it's, you know, you can't actually do this unless you've got a compressor and an industrial staple gun and a sewing machine to do it right. And I always write on do not drill, because problem is you drill it. Even if you drill on the back, it will come through and it will rip this side. You will ruin it. So you get a punch. If you haven't got one, buy punches. You need them. It is the best thing for the job. You can't do it without, in my opinion. Can't think that there's much more to tell. I mean, I don't need to show you how to make these because really we should be doing them. Your other trim panels, you'd be covering like this. So on tight corners, Make sure you always get your vinyl over the top so it doesn't show on the face. Doesn't matter what it looks like on the back. It can look like an absolute mess. It doesn't matter. What I'm showing you is technique. Get it over and stick it down and make sure all your cuts won't be visible from the front. I can sell you this latex adhesive. We buy it from the glue people. As far as I'm aware, they only sell to the trade, so you can get latex adhesive, but to my mind, that's the best stuff. We can sell you that at £8 a pot. And it comes with a brush, and it's quick drying. Only problem is, once you've put it on, it balls up, it forms globules. So you've got to do a test piece first. You've got to know how to use it, but obviously I would sort of tell you how to do that. Don't use spray adhesive. I know it's what is widely used, but the stuff gets everywhere. You know, and I think this is more forgiving. And it dry, it's quite hard to see. But if you see, you can just rub it off. So even if you made a mess of it the first time, you can actually rub it off and sand off your trim panel. But I mean, I wouldn't. I would do a test piece first. I mean, we do a test piece for everything. So, I may as well show you these while we're here. So these are doors for a MGTF. These are a lot more involved. Pay more for these than you will for those, because, well, they've got an elasticated pocket, and the pocket is padded. It's actually sewn there for detail, but then it's got leather piping sewn on the top. It's also worth noting, look how our vinyl and leather matches. That's been specially produced for us. That's been specially produced for us. This is the last of our almond green. That is it. Leather-wise, never to be repeated. Almond green was a colour they brought in with TF. So apple green and almond green were never available at the same time. They probably just did it to separate apple and almond green from each other. To be honest, there's no point us offering almond green because it's so similar to apple green, and apple green is used in triple M's and T-types. We may as well just do that. It's so similar. It's not the same, but it's incredibly similar. And again, it's stitched all the way around. And look, there is for the spindle for the door. There it is. Customers actually put it in, or he marked it up on his patterns, and I put it in. To be honest, actually, TF probably the only MG customer doesn't have to provide patterns for the trim panels, because you know they're actually quite modern as far as old MGs are concerned. The early mid 50s, so the cars they're not old enough to have warped and contracted, and a restoration on a TF will be almost identical to original. Anyway, sewing all the way through the ply again. You know, you get one shot at it. It's actually a little bit wonky there. I'm always absolutely honest, but that is good. Me and my father did them together because he's of an age now where he can't do everything, and I'm his apprentice and still learning from him. So we do a job together. And hopefully we can get things out quicker. Now T-types, TAs, TPs, TCs, TDs, TFs all add what is called hide and banding. Special kind of piping all the way round. And that is also sewn to the trim belt. There's a little crease there, that's fine. You can't, there's no way you can eradicate that. You've got to have that. Because you've got to get the whole trim panel with the hide and banding underneath the machine. And it's, you know, it's sewing through wood. It's a lot for the machine to take on. Probably could have done that better, but the stitching is right through the middle of the hide. That is the most important thing. You know, you don't want the stitch. You can't have the stitching on show. That's just, you know, absolutely not acceptable. Here's a flat-headed. So what you do when you fit these to your car, may as well show you whilst I've got. Put a flat-headed screwdriver in and twist it open. And you use deep drive panel pins. You don't use tacks with a head on them because they'll damage the hide on the way in. So you don't need a magnetic tack hammer. It's fine if you've got one, but you actually only need a tack hammer because you can't lift. The deep drive panel pins have got a round head, so you can't lift them up with a tack hammer anyway. So they're the doors. This is a full trim kit here, ready to go out there. Wheel arch covers. They are your front kick panels. They've got a curvature in there. I mean, I'm not going to go into mad detail, but you would never make these. A trimmer has to make these. They are too involved. It would take you... You'd have to spend weeks just practicing and getting it right. They're the two that go underneath your doors. And they are your rear quarters. But basically they are, I mean, that's what they're commonly known as, but they're the trim panel that goes around the wheel arch inside the car. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else to add at the moment. Because like I said, this wasn't totally planned. I just thought I'd show you whilst those doors were out. And anyway, I like things a bit rough and ready, like me. So I hope you've found something interesting and informative from this. And I will keep showing videos of, you know, just things that may interest you. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to give all our secrets away. I will never show people how to make seats because you don't need to know. You know, I will show you how to do your door rubbers for Triple M doors and things like that because you have to do them because we don't have the car. We don't take cars in anymore. We just manufacture and supply only. So, yeah, I'll do some more and put them up on YouTube. Cheers.